And to this now, the Gauteng Department of Education has bemoaned the manner in which the Pretoria High School for Girls has handled the allegations of racism at the school, including the disciplinary process of the 12 suspended girls who have been found not guilty by a disciplinary panel comprised of members of the school governing body. Gauteng Education Department spokesperson Steve Mabona joins us for more. Steve, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Perhaps let's go straight into the meat of it. Why did the department bemoan the way that the school had handled the disciplinary process in particular?
You sound very far, but as a department, we accept the outcome. That's why we've indicated that we cannot even investigate the 12 learners that were investigated by the SGB. But our challenge is that the suspicion of racism were not even raised in the disciplinary process. And hence we feel that the MEC can then institute that investigation, which is going to be looking at the allegations of racism in the entire school community, looking at the parent body, focus on our employees, and also look at the some of the allegations that came from the learners. So that's what we've decided to do. Hence, we are not going to pursue what the SGB has decided upon. You'll understand that there's a Schools Act that give them authority to conduct a disciplinary process of their children. And it says they must do that within 7 days. So in this case, they've decided to suspend, and within that period, they came to this decision that what they had in their disposal was not conclusive, as it were. So hence, they then decided like this.
Yeah. The principal of the school was suspended by the department. Does the principal remain suspended?
Did not get that.
I'm saying the principal of the school was suspended by the department for turning a blind eye to the complaints when they were initially raised. Is the principal still suspended, given that there has now been an outcome in the disciplinary hearing process conducted by the SGB?
No, but we need to remember that our process was parallel to what the SGB was doing. So we still continue with our investigation. While the principal is suspended, we have an acting principal at the school who will continue with the process of managing the school. So our investigation is parallel to what the SGB was doing. That's why we are now saying, parallel to the investigation against the principal, we will then have to bring an independent body that is going to investigate all allegations of racism, which we cannot ignore, because parents have been saying, this is happening at the school. Some learners have been saying that there's an element of racism that is perpetuated at the school. But the SGB, during their process, they said nothing about racism. That's why we feel that we then need to investigate racism at this entirety. But all these processes, they go parallel.
So if racism didn't come up in the SGB disciplinary process, given that was the nature of the complaint, what exactly did the SGB investigate? Do you have the report from the SGB yet?
Yes, we did receive a report Friday in the afternoon, late after, they have already communicated with their parent body or the school community, which is something that we felt that, it was unfair to us. But as it were, we did receive that report. We had to study it. We had to take then legal advice on it to check on what are the elements. They investigated the allegation of violence and bullying, physical violence among the learners. They also went to allegation that the learners were disruptive in the schooling environment and they were transgressing the code of conduct. So going through what was perpetuated in the WhatsApp group, they indicated that that was not conclusive, enough, to can find the learners guilty on those charges. So hence we feel that we are aware that there are allegations of racism at the school, which information has been put on the officials of the district by some learners and some parents. And we also have our employees that we're going to be, interacting with at the school, which the element of racism has been raised. So hence we feel that we then need to independently investigate these allegations. We can't leave them unattended because they are there.
Yeah.
So hence we even insisted that we're going to unleash a diversity management program at the school through Matthew Koniwe School of Leadership. They will be assisting us to, facilitate that process.
Yeah.
We'll be looking at the parent body, learners, and our employees, so that we enhance them to understand that we
Steve,
are
I just want to come in here to make sure that
different cultures, but yeah.
Yeah, I just want to come in here so I can understand you very clearly. The report you received from the school following the SGB disciplinary hearing process have found the following. They investigated the girls for violence and bullying and found them not guilty on that. They investigated them for disruptive behavior and found them not guilty for that. And it also then found that there is inconclusive evidence to sustain a charge of racism. And as a result, the Department of Education will now specifically intervene to investigate racism. Am I understanding you correct?
Now take out the last part, that there was inconclusive evidence on racism. That report is saying nothing on racism.
So it didn't investigate a charge of racism at all?
So hence, nothing.
Okay. What powers to investigate and to sanction does the does the department have outside of the process already concluded by the SGB?
We do have the report from the SGB, which we said we respect. But parallel to that, we then decided that we're going to launch our own investigative process, which will then guide us on the way forward, on how we must then decide in the event the allegations are proven to be true.
Just lastly there, Steve.
Those are the things that will then be guided.
Is it necessary for the Department of Education in Gauteng to very specifically conduct its own investigation on racism, given that a more suitable body like the South African Human Rights Commission have already indicated they too are investigating this?
No, we have a responsibility to do that. We manage the schools. So we heard that South African Human Rights Commission have reached out, they want to come. We will welcome them to come and assist and conduct their investigation, but we still feel strongly that we will have to conduct our own investigation, which is going to inform us on actions that we must take moving forward. So it's important for us to do that.
Steve Mabona, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That is the Department of Education in Gauteng spokesperson. Look, conversations about racism are incredibly difficult, complex, and often acidic and very difficult to navigate. Stay tuned, because at 7 p.m. this evening, the team of It's Topical with Blaine Herman will be throwing the spotlight on allegations of racism at schools in South Africa, not just at Pretoria High School of Girls. What are the problems and what could be the solutions? 30 years into democracy, that remains an important question.